Hey yogis, welcome back to my channel. I'm Leanne, the Kiwi Yogi, and today we're just going to take you through a nice flowing practice where we can just basically focus on cultivating a kindness from within for ourselves and for all others. So let's grab your mat, let's grab any props that you have, and we'll get started. We all want to be a little stronger. Alright, let's start on the floor on our mats, and just a nice comfortable seated position that works best for you. So if it's not nice for the knees or the hips, then you can just take the soles of feet down into the floor and sit here. You can sit into a chair, or just taking the ankles, crossing the ankles into a position that's best for you. Just take your hands and place them on your knees or your thighs, and just feel the spine lengthen nice and tall, and then just give a little wiggle through the shoulders, rolling the shoulders back and then rolling them forward. Let's draw both shoulders up towards the ears and then taking the shoulders down the spine. Let's do a couple of those, taking shoulders up towards the ears and down the spine. And then from here, we're just going to start to settle into the seat, just feeling the sit bones ground down and the spine lengthen up. Feel the knees soften toward the floor as the hands rest at the top of the knees. Just take a moment here to close down your eyes and just feeling into the space of which you sit, and just acknowledging the energetic presence of your body. Noticing the body and the space that it occupies, and just noticing the energy levels that you have right now. So just noticing if you're holding any heaviness in the heart, in the lungs, in the head, or even in the hips. Just taking time to just check in. So today we hope to cultivate a deeper sense of kindness and awareness within our own self. So sitting and taking a moment to reflect is the perfect place to start. And just allow the breath to naturally flow in and out of the body here without altering it in any way. Notice the way it moves into the body, and notice the way it moves out of the body. Taking a few breaths here to allow the breath to naturally lengthen out. So try not to force that slowing down. Just noticing how it moves in and out of the body. Beautiful. And from here, just take your hands to your heart center. You can keep your eyes closed down. Thumbs point back toward the heart here. Elbows come wide, and the heels of the hands, as the palms press together, they draw down towards the floor, taking the elbows wider. It's from here that we set our sankalpa. So this is our heart's desire, our intention for our practice. Cultivating kindness and awareness in your body, and allowing that kindness and that awareness to ripple out into the lives of others. Beautiful. So from here, just gently open your eyes and interlace the fingers. Press the palms to face forward, squeeze the inner elbows in towards each other, and press the fingers all the way forward. The palms pressing towards the front of your mat. Full breath in. And then as you next inhale, you're going to float the hands up toward the sky, nice and slow, super slow with awareness. Keep squeezing the arms in towards the ears. Squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. Draw the belly in, spine is long. And then exhale, relax the shoulders down the spine. Nice, breathe into side of waist. Feel the sensations through the armpits, through the front of the chest, sides of waist. And then from here, keep grounding down through your sit bones as you take the hands over to one side. Just feeling a stretch intensify through one side of the body. Try not to collapse on the underside of the body. Keep pressing through the hands. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale over to the other side. Breathing deep all the way into the belly. Nice. Really come up super slow, and slowly release the fingers. Take the arms wide and taking the hands down to the floor. Take the fingertips to the floor. So you're like cupping it, not palms to the ground, and start to open through the heart. Lift the chin, the chest. Tilt the pelvis forward. Draw the belly in and lift the heart up. You can drop the head back a little bit if it's okay, but we really want expansion through the front of the heart. And then as you exhale, start to draw the shoulders forward, contract through the abdominals, and start to round over. Inhale, really peeling this super slow, opening up through front of the chest, broaden through the collarbones, squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other at the back of the spine. Exhale, roll the shoulders forward, round through the spine, draw the belly in, and round over. Okay, let's do 2 more of those. Inhale, opening through the heart, lifting the sternum, lifting the chin. Keep the back of the neck long. Exhale, rounding over. Draw the belly in. Final one here. Inhale, lifting up, opening up. And exhale, rounding in. This time, we're just going to release the hands to the floor. Take the back of the hands to the mat and just round over. If you feel like you need to, you can take the palms down into the floor, fingers pointing forward, and just allow the body to roll forward and over. Breathing there, let the head hang down, weight of the head seeping forward. Inhale, start to rise back on up. So start to twist through the spine a little more. So let's take our left hand to our right knee, okay? And then take your right hand behind your right hip. Slowly just start to turn the head over toward the right. So we want this twist to come from the belly button up, the torso turning over toward the right, the left hand just resting atop of the knee. So you may not feel much here, but as you start to press through the sit bones, lengthen the spine up as you inhale, and then exhale, you're going to twist from the belly button up to look out over your back shoulder. So you don't need to go very deep here. If you're feeling it, just looking out to the side of the room, particularly if you're quite tight through the sides of the waist or through the neck, and then twisting over toward the right. Let's take one more breath here. Keep drawing that back elbow in towards the body and twisting over. Inhale, turn back to center, and exhale, release your arms back to center. Just sit here for a moment, noticing that space. And I even invite you, if you've got your shins crossed, to take the opposite shin in front. All right, so we're just allowing the hips to sink away a little differently here. So we might find one heel or one hip is higher than the other. And then from there, let's come to the other side through the twist. So take your right hand to the left knee. So that arm is nice and long, and draw the arm back into the shoulder socket. Take your left hand behind your left hip, and just super slow, start to look over toward the left, not too much. The hips keep facing forward. Breathe all the way into the belly, and breathing out. On your next inhale, really press through the sit bones, lift and lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, you might want to twist a little deeper, twisting from the belly button up, looking out over your left shoulder. And I'm even gripping with my right hand to just gently draw and twist my torso over a little deeper to the left. But if you're feeling it through the neck and side of waist, then just stay looking out gently toward the left. Let's take one more breath here. Feeling a spine lengthen, lift up, and exhale, twisting a little deeper. Right, slowly come back to center and releasing the arms back to center. How are you feeling? I hope you're feeling okay. We're moving nice and slow here. What we want to do from here is we're going to come back into child's pose. So from here, just coming over onto our knees as slow as you can go. Okay, so remembering there's no hurry here. Take the knees wide if you like, the big toes to touch, and sink the bottom back toward the heels. Now, if that's too much pressure for your knees, then making sure you've got a blanket or something cushioning in underneath the knees or the thighs. And then from here, you can just start to walk your hands forward, soften the heart down. Allow the forehead to rest down to the floor and lengthen your arms all the way to the top of your mat. Now this may look different for a lot of different shapes, but ideally we want to feel the weight of the hips sinking back towards the heels. Even if they don't connect, press through the hands, press the hips back, and then try to soften the forehead and heart down. Just slowing down the breath once more, connecting in, feeling that expansion through the front of the chest, opening through the armpits, and lengthening of the spine. You may feel like a lot of tension through the hips, and that's okay. Just breathe into the space, allowing everything to soften in. One more breath. Exhale it fully out. On your next inhale, slowly rise on up. Take your hands beneath your shoulders and take your knees beneath your hips. So draw them in a little bit closer. Okay, so make sure that your hands are shoulder width apart. Spread your fingers super wide. Let's start to mobilize that spine a little more. So let's just draw the chest forward, drop the belly down, and lift through the heart, tilt the sit bones up. As you exhale, we're going to press through the hands around the upper back, tuck the tailbone under, and draw the heart away from the floor. Let's move through these rounds a few times here. Cat and cow, Betalasana. Just mobilizing the spine in one direction, flexing it forward and back. Notice how it feels through the collarbones, through the back of the shoulders, how the tilt through the pelvis moves and rotates. Let's take one more each way. And then just come back to neutral spine. All right, let's drop both hips over toward one side now. Feeling stretched through the outside of the hips. And then come back to center. So a little bit of core engagement as you come back. Drop the hips over to the opposite side. Nice, and come back to center. Let's do a couple more times on each side. Coming back to center. Over to the left. Coming back to center. Now this time for a couple of rounds, take your shoulders to the opposite side that your hips are going to. So my shoulders to the left, hips to the right, coming back to center alignment. And then taking my hips over to the right, my hips over toward the left and my shoulders over to the right. So it's just intensifying that stretch a little bit more. So take one more each way. Just breathing, keep pressing through the hands, fingertips grounding down and coming back to neutral spine. Now just drawing circles with the pelvis, going in one direction and then opposite direction. So draw in and go the opposite way. Now, option here is you can continue to do that, or you can start to move it up into the upper body, pressing through the hands, and it really doesn't matter what it looks like. It's really a feeling of bending the elbows, rolling the shoulders, and moving with intention as we release through the hips, release through the shoulders. It's not something we do in everyday life, so let's just wiggle it out and shake it out. Awesome. From here, one of my favorites is just taking a toe squat here. So we're tucking the toes and we're taking the big toes to touch and the ankle bones to touch. Knees come together if you can. I'm going to start to walk and sit back up onto the heels, okay? So just opening through the chest and sitting the weight of the bottom down into the heels. This can be quite intense. So just breathing into the space, hands resting atop of the thighs, draw the belly in, broaden through the collarbones. Breathing there, smooth breath in. Long exhale out, release the hands to the floor, release your toes and just flexing the toes, tucking, releasing and all the way back to the floor. Come up onto kneeling, smooth breath in, long exhale out. All right, so from here, we're just gonna come into some shoulder stretches. Just release a little more through the shoulders and the upper neck. Let's take our arms wide, palms to face forward, okay, just to begin with, and broaden through the collarbones and squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other at the back of the spine. Beautiful. And then from here, bending one elbow, turn the palm to face behind you and drawing it over towards the left side. So you can see the fingers creeping out. Don't worry if they can't come all the way. And then from here, doing the same, turning the palm to face behind you, bending through the elbow and take hold of the forearms. So you're behind you, taking hold of the forearms, opening through the heart. Breathing there, squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other again at the back of the body. Nice. And then from here, just dropping the head over to one side, stretching through the side of the neck. Breathing all the way into the belly. And letting the full breath out. One more breath there, breathing all the way into the belly. Keep drawing the elbows down toward the floor, shoulders toward the hips. Slowly come back to center and exhale. Let's check the other side. Nice, tilting the head over toward the right, stretching through the left side of the neck. Breathing all the way into the belly, releasing the full breath out. One more breath. And slowly come back up. Nice, from here, you're going to release your right arm and you're going to take it up toward the sky. All right, let's get a little deeper into the shoulder. Bend your elbow and take the hand down the center of the back. Now, because your other arm is already there, then we're just going to slowly walk the hand all the way over to the right and then bending from the elbow, You're going to walk it up to the center of your back. The top arm, the fingers reaching back down towards the bottom. So you can take hold of the clothing if you can't quite reach, or take hold of the fingers. So remembering, if it's in your practice, just hold the clothes. You're feeling the front of the chest open, all the space on side of waist, armpit opening, but as you reach that left arm back behind you and up towards the right hand, you're feeling the front of your left shoulder opening as well. So just take one more breath here. And that full exhale out, release slowly with the arms. Take your arms wide. Now you're feeling a lot of sensation maybe through the front of your left shoulder. Beautiful. Let's change sides. We're going to draw that right arm behind the back now, reaching over toward the left. Take your left hand toward the sky. Bending the elbow, taking the hand down the spine, and once more, just wiggling that right arm up towards the left, taking hold of the fingers or the clothing wherever you can. Draw that left elbow up towards the sky and back behind you, and start to squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other. Try not to let the lower ribs flare out and open through the front of the chest. Breathe all the way into the belly. Let the whole breath go. One more breath. And exhale, slowly release, super slow. Unravel the arms, take the arms wide, feeling the sensations through the arms, and release. Nice. From here, take the hands to the thighs, take a moment there. If you need to, just rolling over onto your bottom and just releasing the legs so you're no longer sitting onto the shins. Take a full breath in, long exhale out. Nice. Cultivating kindness and awareness. Take the fingers back and behind you, knowing that you are supported by the floor. Start to lift your heart once more. Open the chest, tilt the pelvis forward, lift the sternum. And as you exhale, round the spine, roll the shoulders forward, bow the head in. Again, inhale, floating the heart up, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, rounding over. Take one more lift here, opening up. And exhale, rounding in. Nice. Slowly come back to center. And again, we're going to make our way over into a child's pose. This time we're going to come through a puppy pose. So this time taking the bottom back towards the heels. Okay, take your knees about hip width apart. Now from here, as you walk your hands forward and rest the forehead down, we're not quite done, so make sure you notice where your knees are. And then you're going to lift your bottom up and you're going to take it above your knees. So you got one line of the knees to the hips, and then walk your fingers forward and a little bit wider to the top edges of your mat, and then start to rest your forehead down. Start to soften the chest down. So the space between the arms is the center of your sternum, or the center of your chest starts to descend. And resting the forehead down so you're not putting extra undue pressure on the neck. You're feeling the opening through the chest a little deeper. If this becomes too much at any time, then just slowly lifting your head, walk your hands back and take that child's pose extended version here. Otherwise, we're going a little bit deeper, staying here in your puppy pose for 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready, just slowly taking the hands back in, lifting the forehead, shuffle back into your child's pose if you haven't already, and rest the forehead down. This time, just draw the knees in a little bit closer towards each other underneath the body. Let the belly be resting on the top of the thighs, and then take your arms alongside the body, the fingers reaching back towards the back edge of your mat, and rest the body forward. Feeling the weight of the shoulders sink forward and down, lengthening the back of the body. Feel the belly press into the thighs, letting the weight of the head fully surrender. Allow the front of the shoulders to roll forward, relaxing and surrendering over. Take one more breath here, and a long exhale out. And when you're ready, just slowly starting to rise on up, all the way back to seated. So let's move through Adho Mukha Svanasana, down face dog. So this one is just kind of, we've done the stuff to prepare and opening through the heart, expanding the shoulders and starting to lubricate and move the shoulders in all directions. So to come into your down dog, if you know it, come straight into it. Otherwise, reaching your fingers forward, hand shoulder width apart, spread your fingers nice and wide. And then with your bottom sinking back toward the heels in your child's pose, then rock the weight forward into the knees. Tuck your toes so your feet are hip width apart, so look back between the knees. And then pressing through the hands, draw the belly in, tuck the tailbone under, activate the core, and start to hover the knees up off the ground, press through your hands, and lift the hips up toward the sky. So bend your knees super deep here, so you don't have to straighten the legs at all. Pressing through the hands. Let's start to walk out that down dog. So just bending one knee and taking the opposite heel down towards the floor, super slow. Any shoulder discomfort here, then just come back down and rest in child's pose, and you'll start to just build up the strength here to keep pressing through the hands, lifting the hips high. If you feel yourself slipping, then just grounding down through the fingers and pressing out through the knuckles. Just slowly lengthening the hamstrings, but feel like your heart's opening and your hips are lifting. Don't worry too much about the hamstrings here. You want to feel the sensation of the heart opening. Now, if you like, you can take the heels and start to soften them both down to the floor at the same time. Squeeze the thighs on, lengthening the back of the legs a little more. Don't worry if the heels don't come all the way down. Press through the hands, let the head hang down, gaze back between the thighs. Breathe fully into the belly. And exhale completely out. From here, slowly walk your feet to the center of your mat, super, super slow. And then from here, we're just going to take standing forward fold. It's folding over the legs. So just allowing the weight of the head to just release to the floor, letting the full spine traction and surrender over. Just bend your knees if you need to, so your bottom does not have to be directly over top of your ankles. Pressing through the feet, feel the hips lift up nice and high. Fingers can just rest on the floor and let the head fully hang down. Nice. And then from here, just take your hands to the floor once more, shoulder width apart. Step your feet back, come back into your down face dog. So that's just letting the weight of the spine go, letting the space between the vertebrae open up. So this is also an inversion, allowing that same sensation, but a little bit more muscle activation through the sides of the waist as you press through the hands, drawing the belly in and lengthening the hamstrings. Let's take that one more time, stepping the feet forward. If you're getting lightheaded or dizzy at any time, then I'll invite you to take a halfway lift. So halfway lift is taking the hands to the shins or the top of the thighs, come up so the torso is parallel to the floor. Squeeze your shoulder blades in towards each other, gazing down directly to the floor. Draw your belly in, spine is active. So you're allowing the blood to come back to the heart and back from the head without it kind of just standing upright and it all draining back very quickly. You'll get quite lightheaded that way. So from here, if you're in your forward fold or your halfway lift, just breathing there. Nice. And then slowly release back into your down face dog. So take the hand shoulder width apart, spread your fingers wide, step the feet back. Hips come high. Remember, bend the knees as much as you need to. Pressing back. Full breath in. Long exhale out. One more breath. Exhale, slowly lowering down to your knees. Beautiful. Take your feet off to one side, and I'm hoping that you've got a blanket, a bolster, or a cushion nearby, because then we're going to take a heart opener laying on our backs. So, depending on what you've got around you, grabbing it so it's near. I've got a block, so I can use a block for this one, and I'm going to take the block onto a flat side. Now you can use the option of a towel, rolling it up lengthways and placing it underneath the spine lengthways. Or you can grab a bolster or a pillow and do the same, just making sure it's between the shoulder blades. All right, so let's start to recline back over onto the block. Extending the legs long. Make sure that the block is in underneath the thoracic part of your spine. And if this is quite intense for you, opening through the shoulders, just taking your arms alongside the body, then we just want to take a little bit of time to allow the heart to be lifted up. So the higher that your block is up off the floor, so your block can be up on this side if you're not feeling a lot of sensation, or your towel can be a lot more compact and flatter to the floor if you're feeling too much. So really just adjusting and feeling it to where you need to be. And don't worry about taking it to the extreme here. We really just want that kindness, that cultivating a sense of awareness of what's happening in each part of your body and expansion of the breath. So resting the back of the head to the floor, the head should be touching the floor, and taking your arms nice and wide. Draw the belly in as you exhale. Okay, so the breath is still flowing in and out of the body through the nose. Just being aware of the belly drawing in, really pressing the whole breath out of the lungs. Let's just take a few moments here, just feeling the connection of the body sinking down. Whatever it's touching, just feel it deepen a little more with your exhales. Feel the weight of the arms become heavier. Feel the legs soften, toes splay away from each other. Letting go. And when you're ready, just slowly rolling over to one side and popping your towel or your block or your blanket out from underneath you and rolling back down onto your spine. Take the arms alongside the body and just feel the back of the body sink into your mat now. Notice how it feels as the heart can surrender down, the chest can soften. And then from here, just draw the right knee in towards the chest, hands to the top of the shin, and draw the knee in towards the chest. Nice. Now drawing the left knee in, hand to top of that shin now. So one hand on each knee. Drawing the knees in. Feel the lower back flatten a little bit more. And feel the hips come a little deeper. Nice, now release the right knee, keep holding with the left, and extend the right leg long, heel to the floor. Nice, and then releasing the left knee and taking the leg long. So feel the sensations through the front of the hips, the opening through the front of the heart. An option here is if you do have a bolster or a blanket or some cushions to pop in underneath you, we're going to take a Supta Baddha Konasana, so a reclined bound angle. Okay, so bending your knees, take the soles of feet together, knees nice and wide. Hand can rest on the belly, in the hips, or alongside the body. Now, just try not to draw the heels in towards the buttocks too close. The further they are away, then you might get a little bit more release through the inner groin. So this is really dependent on your body, so have a little play with the placement of your feet. But the soles of the feet press together, the knees fall wide. So you feel the weight of gravity allowing the inner knees to soften down, well, the outer knees to soften down as the gentle pressure through the inner knees. Allow the outer shoulders to relax down, shoulder blades resting into the floor. Just allowing a deep sense of calm and peace to just glide over your entire body, letting the breath be soft and subtle. And then slowly take your hands underneath the thighs, so one hand to one thigh, and squeeze the inner thighs. Knees come back in towards each other. Awesome. And then just draw the knees in towards the chest. Hands atop of the knees once more, releasing that lower back. Beautiful. From here, just release the knees, take the soles of feet down into the floor. Make your way over onto one side, and then using your hands, press back up into a comfortable seated position. Remember, any comfortable seated position that works best for you. Hands rest down on the knees or thighs. Lengthen the spine nice and long. Relax your shoulders down. So just take a moment here to close down the eyes. Again, checking in with your energy levels. Noticing the sensations of your body and how you're feeling at the end of your practice. Allow the breath to remain soft and the body to flow with ease. Taking a moment here to thank you for your practice, having time to breathe, to lengthen, and to cultivate a kindness and awareness within your own body. And just ending your practice, take your hands to your heart center, thumbs point back toward the heart, bowing the forehead toward the fingers. As together we say, Namaste. Thank you for joining me on today's practice. Feel free to subscribe to my channel to get notified of future classes. Hit the bell. I look forward to seeing you, or look forward to having you watching my future classes, and feel free to comment and drop some likes below. Thank you so much.